Welcome to the Four Brewers Podcast. My name is John Holzer, and as always, I'm joined by
Jason Harris,
Greg Nagel,
and Tim Maven.
And this week, all of us are here. Like, it's the beginning of December. It's the beginning of the holiday season in America, and
it's what you call a Christmas miracle.
It's a Christmas miracle. It's a holiday
bless
miracle.
us, everyone.
And this week on the show, even though it's the beginning of December, this show is going to be coming out a little bit later on in December. So we figured we'd just kick it off with a holiday beer show. Because in my opinion, Saturdays, December, no matter what day it is, it's the holidays, right? Like Thanksgiving's over. We put our tree up literally on Thanksgiving because no one was here anyway, and we had nothing better to do. So we put the tree up. And we just went right into the Christmas holiday season. So
Look,
I
man,
think doing a show this early for holiday beers is perfectly acceptable.
It's 2020. Take any joy you can get in this godforsaken fucking world. If you want to do Christmas in October, do your thing, man. It's fine.
Yeah,
Dude, we put up a Halloween tree this year.
Nice.
What was the tree? Like a fake Christmas tree?
No, it's like an orange tree with like spider webs and shit, and yeah, it was super festive.
That's fun. I didn't.
Yeah,
why
not?
Have thought to do that.
We didn't put presents under there, but we could have. But I don't know. It was just something to do.
I like that idea. Making Halloween like a pre-Christmas, but instead of gifts that you would get for Christmas, they're all like creepy Halloween themed gifts. That sounds kind of fun.
Yeah,
like a primer for Christmas.
Pin the finger on the zombie was a game we were going to play, and
pin the finger on the zombie.
Get a box that's filled with a pox.
Yes.
Yep.
A pox.
So yeah, this week, like I said, we're doing all holiday beers. I think holiday beers, they don't really have a clear interpretation like Thanksgiving or fall seasonal beers tend to be more pumpkin spice kind of beers. You know what you're getting into. They're all going to pretty much taste the same, except for the few brewers that tend to modify that theme and change it. It's still, though, they're all going to be pretty much samesies. Christmas beers, you can kind of say that too. Like they still kind of lean on holiday spices. Allspice is still, I think, a common thing with Christmas beers, but it's more cinnamon, nutmeg, stuff like that. Some breweries experiment with like peppermint and mint stuff. And I think another common theme with holiday beers is barrel-aged, big, stout, barrel-aged beer, stuff like that, because
something
it's
to
cold.
Keep you warm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old winter warmer that's packed with spices and alcohol,
Right.
Yeah, which is not my favorite. I think I do have one. But definitely not my favorite style, that like super spicy, super malty, super boozy. Like, yeah, just kind of you try it once and you're like, I don't need any more of that for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I think something in Southern California that I don't know if it's unique to SoCal or other places are doing it, but IPA is still a pretty common Christmas beer. Like a lot of breweries will make an IPA that's just a little bit different. Not that they're adding like spruce tips or, I don't know, those kind of things to it. They're just making a straight up IPA that's unique to that season.
I remember for years being thrown off by Yulesmith. Like AleSmith had Yulesmith, which I'm like, well, that's going to be some fucking winter warmer with spruce tips and extra Christmas trees. Like, oh, it's actually just a big West Coast IPA.
Yeah. Stone's
but-
doing the same thing with their Enjoy By. Like they make that a beer that's kind of Christmas/New Year's. You have to enjoy it, I think, by the 3rd day of next year or something like that. But yeah, the my point is Christmas beers are open to interpretation, I think, more so than fall or Thanksgiving beers.
I feel like
Well,
there's
you're
been
gonna
a
laugh
hand.
at my plate. Oh,
There's
sorry.
been a,
Go ahead,
I
Tim.
was just gonna say, there's been a number, I think, in the past of like gingerbread stouts that I've had that have been pretty solid. I know, Jason, you just mentioned obviously like the spiciness and all that stuff, not really hitting it for you, but I've had a few that I have kind of hit home and really, I think, capture the essence of what you expect, like walking into Santa's workshop and the smell of gingerbread and joy. hitting your
Gingerbread, I could
face.
see. That's a little better than like putting allspice and like fruitcake spices and shit.
Oh yeah, nope. Stay away from fruitcake.
Yeah, I still don't get fruitcake beers, but so yeah, we're gonna kick it off here. Me and Tim, we both have the same beer starting out. We're both drinking the Anchor. Oh wait, no, you are drinking the Saint Bernardus. I'm
Oh no,
wrong.
I didn't put those in order. So if you've already opened the Anchor, I'm right behind you.
Okay, I did open the Anchor.
Then
Yes, let's do
cheers, coming right up.
Cheers.
Drop
Yeah.
an anchor.
Yeah, mine are not in order either. So
Okay. Well, I opened mine. I think I put mine kind of in order-ish, but the first one I opened was the Anchor, and in the show notes I put the Saint Bernardus, which I do not have. It's the Anchor. I made a mistake there.
The Anchor for me, Anchor's in the Anchor Happy Holidays and Merry Christmas, or let's reverse that, is the equivalent of when Celebration comes out from Sierra Nevada. Like
Yeah.
Celebration comes out earlier in the year, and that's like the start of fall in my mind. And then when the Anchor Christmas comes out, you're like, okay, now we're here.
Yeah, the technical name for this beer is Merry Christmas and Happy New Year (parentheses our special ale).
Mhm.
So I tend to call it just like the Anchor Christmas beer.
Yeah.
I think our special ale is like the one that's below that, or Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Yeah, it's a beer that it's the same pretty much base recipe, but they do different riffs on it every year. It's a beer that I look forward to as well every year. It's an excellent beer. It's not like it's overspiced or like a pastry kind of thing. Like it's a really solid base beer with just a nice complement of flavors that they add.
And it's dark, but it's not thick. It's not like sappy or anything like that. It's very smooth and easy drinking. Interestingly enough, this is actually the 46th year that they've released it. And
Damn.
apparently this is the darkest and highest ABV that they've done at 7%.
Really?
Wow.
If you go to their tasting room, they actually have, first off, their like tasting room in the brewery itself. It's not really a tasting room. It's kind of like a entryway for a tour, but super freaking cool. Like all like old wood and lots of really cool like old San Francisco artifacts and stuff in there. But along the like upper, I forget what they call that, where it's kind of like an upper lining on the wall. But they basically have like a little shelf, and they have all the 40 years of freaking Anchor Christmas bottles up there that you can see. It's pretty cool.
I saw that they posted something on their social. I want to say like a couple weeks back. That was like they were doing mixed packs of archive Christmas beers from the past. Like you could go and pick them up. I don't know exactly what it was, but they were basically rating the cellar. And I was like, damn it, why am I not in San Francisco?
Check out Stuffed Sandwich. Probably is really good for that too in San Gabriel outside of LA.
Mhm.
I remember I picked up a while back from them like a 94 Anchor Christmas.
Nice. I have two so for a little while I was collecting. I like it so much I was collecting the Magnums because they're like $20 for a Magnum of Christmas beer. It's like super cheap. And I was just like, I'm just gonna get it because it's cool. I don't have anyone to drink those with, so they're just sitting in the cabinet.
Yeah, that was my only option at the store was the Magnum. I'm like, I don't want to spend $20 and drink like 4 ounces and dump the
Domed it,
rest.
dude.
Anyway, yeah, this is
So,
definitely a good one for me.
Yeah, I agree. This is, again, a beer I look forward to every year. I'm glad it's limited to just, the holiday season. I could drink it year round, but it's nice to just have something to look forward to that's really tasty and comforting. So, Jason, what'd you open up, man?
So I got a brand that I don't often go to, but I saw it on the shelf and checked it out. It is Shiner's Holiday Cheer.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I saw that one. It was only in a 6er though, otherwise I would have grabbed it.
Yeah, they had out in singles, so I grabbed one of these boys. I didn't realize though that it is a Dunkelweizen. which
Bonus.
I'm very pleasantly surprised by, with Texas peaches and roasted pecans. So
That sounds amazing.
definitely has that dunkel character. It's brown with a little bit of clarity to it. You can see through it if you look real close. And
Clarity tones.
A dunkel with peaches and pecans. I never would have thought to put that combination of things in a dunkel.
the peach is big in this beer. Like the peach flavor is coming through quite a bit. The pecans,
Like, is it more of a flawed? Like, is it overwhelming?
It definitely overwhelms. Like, so when I think Dunkelweizen, I'm really thinking that big banana yeast note, and that is getting like completely overwhelmed by the peach flavor. Isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it does kind of throw you off if you're expecting a traditional like Dunkelweizen.
Wasn't I can't remember, wasn't there a brewery out of Austin? Was it 512? Am I crazy?
That sounds like a brewery.
I feel like there was a brewery out of Texas that was known for a pecan beer, but I can't remember who it was.
Not usually my style, so I don't know. But
yeah, okay.
Yeah, just the big overwhelming note on this beer is peach. I think it's a little thin for a Hefe too. Doesn't have the body that I would normally expect out of a Hefeweizen. But I would put this into like fruit beer. It is very, very fruit forward. Which is funny because they describe it as subtle. But
is it artificially flavored or is it like real puree?
They claim it's freaking Texas peaches.
Okay.
So it tastes like artificial peach flavor, to be honest. It kind of tastes tastes like peach rings.
That's kind of a bummer because I mean,
maybe they added real and then supplemented with some sweetener stuff to.
Yeah, I mean, knowing them they're like a semi-macro, aren't they?
Pretty much.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. It's pretty good. I think the expectation is hurting it a little bit. Like on its own merits, it's not bad. It's just kind of a malty peach beer, which is a weird combination of like sweet malt and peach. You expect kind of peach being with something a little bit more tropical, I guess, but
or stone fruit.
Yeah.
I know with like the Patsy from the brewery formerly known as Barley Forge Brewing Company. I think their first couple batches of that, they made it with like 100% like real coconut, and they realized that it's expensive to use all that coconut, and it also like, you know, pulls a lot of liquid. You lose a lot of product using that much coconut. So I remember when we talked to them when we went there, they used a portion of real coconut and then supplemented it with extract, I think. And they found a good balance. So it still came off fresh, but it was enough to allow them to make it, you know, at scale. When that was scale that was economically feasible. Yeah.
I think it's a balancing act for breweries using different flavorings because it's not always practical, and even then, even if you spend a fortune on some of the natural ingredients, you don't get as much of that flavor. Like, how many beers have you read where you're like, holy shit, that's a crap ton of strawberries or whatever that they put in there, and then you try it and you're like, I'm not getting that much strawberry.
One of the issues there is a lot of breweries will make the label and it goes through label approval, and the beer hasn't even been made yet. So a lot of times for at least special releases where they're like, I don't know, we're putting these hops in and we're just writing the notes for the hops that we're just putting in. We don't know if the beer's gonna actually impart these flavors, but when they rubbed those hops, you know, at the hop farm or whatever, that's what they were getting from, and they're hoping that the end product's going to have it's going to have notes of strawberry and fresh blah blah blah, and it might not. So
that's a really interesting factor that I guess I just didn't really focus on. Is you see these beers and like you just said, like, oh, there's like 10,000 pounds of strawberries in this, and I never really factored in the fact that they have to buy 10,000 pounds of strawberries, or insert fruit here. Yeah, I never really put that together. Like, I've seen videos of like Instagram from breweries that are like, oh, here's the guys like cutting up the this fruit or grinding that fruit, but I never think like, oh yeah, they had to probably buy that somewhere.
Yeah, I've helped at Brewery Taru. There was a collab happening with a chef, and I helped process these weird spiky fruits. And it was dude, here's your box, and you're going to be busy for 3 hours gutting these things and getting your hands all permanently stained. And
Which spiky fruits?
I don't know, it was like some Asian spiky fruit, like little ball, maybe a lychee.
Was it lychee? Yeah, that's the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah, they look like eyeballs inside.
And then when you pull out the beer soaked fruit, that's all beer that you can't sell, right?
Exactly.
So-
Yeah.
But you should sell the fruit, make a puree out of it or something. Jam.
I remember
jam.
I was invited to do a photo shoot for one of the LA Beer Week collaboration brew days, and the beer they were making, I think it was an IPA, but it was made with like a bunch of different fruit like peels and stuff. And most of the footage I got was just a bunch of brewers peeling fruit. And that's it. I got no footage of people dumping barley in or dumping hops in. It was just them peeling fruit, because that was all happening behind the scenes with the actual assistant brewer or whoever it was that was making the beer. The collab was just the brewers getting together to peel fruit. That was pretty much it.
Totally.
Tim, you're in Angelino. Have you ever been to that moldy jam place?
Oh, so did we ever go there? We were itching to go there early in quarantine to pick up some stuff, and then that came out, and we're like, backed into the bushes.
What is this thing we're talking about?
So there's a place. Jason probably knows it better than me.
It's called Squirrel. Reply All did a thing about it.
Basically,
it's pretty good.
Basically, they're like it's a really small place. I think they're known for they do breakfast and pastries, but they're really known for their jams.
Oh, I have, and it's like they have to scrape off the mold on the top of the jam.
Yeah, and like they had a hidden kitchen in the back that the city inspectors never saw or something like that. And bad ventilation, like a whole bunch of bad stuff. I don't know if they ever recovered from that, but I mean, supposedly they came out saying like, a little bit of mold isn't like that bad because it's unpasteurized or something along those lines. But yeah, that was a big drama in like the LA food scene.
It was fucking nasty, by the way. It's not just like a little bit of mold. It's like
they had photos on the notes for that show, I believe, on Reply All, and you could see them.
Like there's a bucket full of
it's fucking gross
ass fucking mold.
Oh man,
it is really unpleasant.
And that is what you get after you brew with fruit.
Pretty much.
All right. Greg, what do you got?
So my flight is sort of hilarious because I only went to one store and they had like one like holiday beer, but it turns out like all of these are loosely holiday beers. So the first one I got was 10 Degrees from Urban Roots Brewing up in Sacramento, and I figured 10 degrees, it's cold during the winter, and that was my stretch.
You son of a bitch.
That's the Czech Pilsner, right?
Hey, this show is up to wide interpretation. Just know that.
To be fair,
the beers I promise you are holiday-ish. But
I am the one that brought
it just sounds
Halloween.
Good.
I am the one that brought Halloween as a celebration to the show, so I guess this is my fault.
Yeah.
So this is a straight up. I mean, it's in the Czech Republic. There's Christmas. I'm sure this is what they drink. Is a straight up Czech Saaz and floor malted Pilsner malt, legit yeast. It's clear as a bell, 3.9%. It's everything you want in a Pilsner. It's dry as a bone, really good head retention. I'm sure it'd be brilliant slow poured out of a side handle. It's just a perfect Pilsner. There's nothing else that you could say about it.
I'm pretty sure I
want to go back and get more because this is good.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I had that either on like the low ABV or the Pilsner show that we did a while
3.9.
back.
Come on, man.
It's super, and it was super good.
I remember it coming up because we looked up what the degrees thing is, and it's about degrees Plato, and that's how they differentiate the different beers and stuff.
I mean, it could be degrees Celsius as well.
It's Plato. It's a great.
When you said Czech, it was a Czech thing, and you're kind of trying to relate that to Christmas time. I thought of The Office, where Dwight was Belschnickel.
Oh God, yes.
And he had to decide if people were naughty or nice. And apparently that's a Dutch figure, I think. I'm trying to like skim over the Wikipedia notes, but that was such a funny episode of The Office.
Yeah, that was good. I like that. I feel like most of the Christmas related episodes of The Office are really good.
Yeah, like they all have their own memorable moments for sure. like what was it? It was like jazzy Christmas or sophisticated Christmas. I don't know. Where Michael Scott, like he wore like a velvet jacket, and because the new the HR chick was coming back that he ended up marrying.
Yeah.
And then a Belschnickel, and then the one with Meredith, like
when she wants to be Santa.
No, and that's not Meredith. That was
Oh yeah, sorry.
Whoa! Michael Scott married Holly.
Spoiler, yeah.
Okay, I only made it past season 6.
That's how he left The Office. They got married. They moved to Indiana, I think. Yeah.
Oh, all right. I'll have to get there someday.
Oh, you didn't see where he proposed and like they lit all the candles and stuff?
Yeah.
No.
Oh God, I cried. It's so good. It's so good. You missed out, man. Anyway,
I heard it gets better after the first season.
Watch that.
Actually, I've heard Schitt's Creek is the same way. Where I've tried twice now to watch season 1 of that show, and I'm just like, this is just a bunch of rich people being like, I hate being poor.
Yeah,
like that gimmick gets old really quick. But I hear it gets its stride. Yeah.
Well, with all the freaking awards they won, I mean, granted, you can't necessarily base the quality of a show on the awards, but I feel like that's got to say something. And yeah, I think we got like 4 or 5 episodes in and then just like moved on to rewatching something we'd already seen. So we have to go back and give it another shot.
Yeah, you got to power through the first season, maybe even the second season, because they eventually get to a point where they accept that that's where they live and they make roots in that area. So
the last thing I remember was an episode where they were arguing about changing the welcome sign.
Oh yes,
the welcome to the city sign. Like, no, that's my sister.
Yeah, it's a great show. So is The Office. So yeah.
For my next beer, John, can you edit in and post a little bit of like Rain and Blood or something? Because I have Ninkasi Brewing's Slayer, one of my favorite beer names and labels of all time.
That's pretty cool.
It's Slay spelled like Santa Sleigh 'R Slayer,
with the font of the Slayer logo, the band.
That's right.
The thrash band Slayer,
which I think is actually
sad I didn't wear my Slayer shirt today.
Right. It's actually a legitimate parody and not just copying a Slayer album cover and changing one item to be legally distinct.
It's one of my favorite beer parodies for sure, because I think the first time I saw that, I was just like, that is incredible. They did such a good job of, making that look like the Slayer logo.
And I'm not sure what kind of beer this is. Let's see what it says. Winter ale. Son of a bitch. That means nothing.
Winter warmer. I think when they say winter ale, they're not saying it's a winter warmer, but it's a beer that you could drink and get those aspects of like a wintry beer, whatever, and that's whatever they decide those aspects should be.
So it is pretty bitter. It's 7.2 ABV, but it's 60 IBU, which is pretty high for a malt forward beer. But they don't mention spices or anything. It's a deep chocolatey malt flavor with lasting bitterness. Let's see. I haven't had this one in a few years, so the last time I checked into it was in 2014. So
I'm just looking up the definition of winter ale, if BJCP does define that.
Honestly, this is like a black IPA. It's like super chocolatey. It's got like old school Cascade hops. Like if anything is a Cascadian dark ale, the cursed former designation for a dead beer style. This is it, dude. It's super good though. It's got like that chocolatey malt character. Really, like the description actually is really apt. The chocolate lingers on your palate like a dark cocoa. The hop bitterness gives it like kind of a piney undertone. Fucking super good.
Technically, according to the BJCP style guidelines, it's under category 21, which is spice/herb/vegetable beer, and 21A. So again, this is category 21. So 21A is spice, herb, or vegetable beer, and 21B is Christmas/winter specialty spiced beer. So I don't know if they're necessarily going along with those guidelines, or they're just calling it a winter ale to
that's what
designate when it comes out. So
Yeah, I think that's kind of what it is. It's just like how you have Yule Smith, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
But this is a really cool beer. When I see winter ale, I'm expecting a spice bomb, and this is not. But it's also still fairly light in alcohol. 7% isn't too bad. It's restrained enough that it's a drinkable beer, and that's really something to appreciate in 2020 because restraint is not common in craft beer.
Yeah, right.
So Tim, what are you moving on to?
Yeah. So let me see really quick. I gotta get the official name here. Okay. So I moved on to what is the Winter Welcome Ale, or I guess on the label here it says Welcome Back Ale. It's from Samuel Smith. So backstory, I basically just did a lookup on Bevmo of holiday or Christmas and picked what was in stock at the time.
Very good.
So this one is, let me get to my notes. Sorry. This is a winter ale. It's 6%. Apparently it's a seasonal limited beer that's fermented in stone Yorkshire squares, which I had to look up. I'm guessing is like stone open face fermenters.
Yeah, they're square, like slated slat, big open fermenters.
Yeah, so I mean, I know there's a Yorkshire Square brewery, so I don't know if they are using that or if that's just they're borrowing the name.
Yeah, Yorkshire Square is named after those.
It's a reference to that, yeah.
Okay, so I just had to look that up, which I thought was really interesting. It's also, let's see, balanced with Fuggle and Golding hops. And I thought one of the cool things when I saw this was that apparently the purchases of this go to support the U.S. Bartenders Guild, so they're making donations back, which, I mean, at this time is super cool. And it looks like they do this once a year. They change the label every year. But, you know, I haven't had a Samuel Smith in a while. And I know it's like, I feel like it's one of those kind of like passed over imports. Like nobody really looks at it because I know they had like the banana bread and some things like that. But overall, it's pretty nice color here. A little like orangey sort of amber color.
I actually sought that beer out because I went to La Bodega to buy my beers, and they have a good selection of like import beers from Europe, and they didn't have it, which I was sad about because I was looking forward to having that beer. But
Is it a little kind of funny, sad that a UK brewery is like, we're doing money to raise for American bartenders because, you know, America doesn't have their shit together. So.
I mean, to be fair, UK is kind of fucked too. Like they're not necessarily in our same boat, but their numbers were getting kind of crazy there for a while too. It's not like they're New Zealand or anything, or Australia where they're back to having concerts.
You have a fair point though, Jason. Like, well, they're so fucked by their own people that we're going to help them out. Overall, I've never had this before. I've never heard of it before, but it's pretty solid. It's got a nice little like wintry spice sweetness that's balanced out by the hops. And yeah, I think it was probably a good call.
We're back to having concerts, John. I'm going to go to a drive-in concert next weekend.
Not the same thing.
It's actually not that bad.
I'm curious how it's going to work. Each car has basically 3 spaces. You have a space for your car. You have a space for like your group to get out of the car, and then an open space between you and the next car. So basically, everyone's always at least 2 car spaces apart. And then they have the full setup though. It's not like on the FM radio like a drive-in movie. It's going to be an actual like band on stage and the music and shit. So we'll see. It sounds like it'll be fun.
The one, where's it at?
Chula Vista Amphitheater.
Okay. I went to one at the the City Grove of Anaheim. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So they had the stage set up, and then it was, instead of 3 spaces, it was you had a car and an empty space, a car and an empty space, and everybody was to be like the opposite side of their car. And they broadcast it, but also you had a whole like parking space to hang out in, which was kind of cool.
So did they actually have like speakers set up and stuff?
Yeah. No, it was a full concert.
Because the biggest problem with drive-in movies is that you're listening to it on a fucking FM radio, and it sucks. So like,
this was like a full-on concert experience. Granted, you know, you're still like, we got the quote-unquote VIP, and we were like the last row of like the special section, so we were still close-ish. So, but it's not like being in a theater. But overall, like it was different. But for people who go to multiple concerts a year, it was at least some sort of a spiritual relief of lacking live music.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully hopefully it's a
John,
fun experience.
I know
and not,
Papa John. I get it.
not just me sitting there with a can of Lysol being like, "Be gone."
No. I mean, I think overall, and well, the thing was like, it was fairly well run too, because there was food and alcohol, but you would like order on your phone and they'd run it to your spot because everyone had an ID spot. And then the bathroom was like a virtual queue. So you'd have to text and wait your turn. So it was
It just sounds like such a pain in the ass. Just
John, when all you have is to sit at home, I'll take a pain in the ass to get out.
That's all I've been doing for 9 months is sitting home.
Exactly. And at this point, a pain in the ass to at least see some live music was worth it.
I get we all have our
throw on the VR goggles and watch a concert on VR.
I mean, that's not a bad idea either.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
I'm not judging you, Tim, at all. Like I know you're being safe and whatnot. For me, it's just so much to go through to see something live that I'd rather just not. That's all. That's just my opinion.
To be honest, so I can bring like my own, like I have a whole space to set up in, so I can bring my own like camp chair and a cooler full of drinks, and
that's
not supposed to bring alcohol, but I can bring like beverages and like a picnic food and whatever. So like I'm also lazy. So I'm like, wait, so I think I can go to a concert and then people like inherently won't be near me.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I just can like kind of chill in my space. I'll get a blanket. It might be a little cold.
Jumping jacks.
And then I can just hang out and like be far from everybody I don't know and also enjoy a concert.
Bring your own drum set and play along.
I mean, who's stopping me?
Bring a keyboard and guitar.
They say they're going to look in our car, but they're just going to shine a light in there. They'd probably see a drum set.
When I went, it was like no outside food or drink, and they like I brought some food for my kid, like because he hadn't really. We wanted to bring something that we knew he'd eat for dinner, and like they're like, "What's this?" I'm like, "Well, it's food for my kid," and they're like, "Okay, fine." It was like super strict about it.
Really? Did they like check your coolers and shit?
Yeah,
like...
yeah. I had to get out, open the trunk, and open my cooler for them to see inside.
Oh, wow.
Again, this is just adding to the pain in the ass factor for me.
Listen,
I know.
These security guards are not prepared for the number of compartments that the Roadmaster has. There's an entire section under the trunk that is like 3 feet by 2 feet. I could put a whole like
human
cooler
being
of beer down there. Yeah, or a person. Yeah, I could.
He's gonna start smuggling drugs sooner or later.
Someone's got to.
Extra income.
All right,
dude.
Off the rails.
I opened up another beer, by the way, from Mason Ale Works and Unsung collaboration called Mustachio Pistachio, which is hilarious.
That's a great name.
And you know how Unsung, they have superheroes for all of their beers and stuff like that. This one has some dude with a huge mustache flying off, like it's wider than his shoulders.
It's a big white mustache.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
And it's like
looks
Spumoni.
It looks like a Yosemite Sam mustache.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a like Spumoni inspired milk stout.
I appreciate that Unsung like creates their own little like custom heroes for everything. They're not just like, oh, it's Wolverine, but legally distinct, not Wolverine. Like they try to be creative with it.
Oh, and
it's their own like it's their own IP. Yeah.
What'd you say it was, by the way? Something milk stout?
It's a milk stout with it's sort of like Spumoni inspired, so it's 5.5%, and it reminds me of a lot on the nose of like sort of like Nestle's, like strawberry Nestle's Quick and Cocoa Pebbles at the same time.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not over the top. It's very dry and very lean. It's not a big sticky milk stout like you can taste it on your lips. It's sort of like 5.5%. It's a very nicely balanced beer for what it is, and just a fun sipper. And I looked it up, Jason. Spumoni is a holiday treat in many Italian families' homes.
Spumoni.
So there you go.
All right.
Do you get any of the pistachio from it?
Not at all. It's pretty much just chocolate and strawberry.
Do you get much? Do you get much mustache?
I mean, if you had a full pint, yeah, I'm sure. But I eat a lot of pistachios. It's one of my favorite nuts, and I don't get
me too.
Pistachio in here. They're sort of like buttery and sort of caramelized when they're toasted right. I don't get any of that, but yeah, it's a fun beer, and I think it's very well done.
Those are the green ones, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why are they green?
We call them tree clams.
Oh, that's a great.
They're not
name.
naturally green, right? Like, aren't they dyed or something?
No.
No, they're just green.
I
You
thought there
open,
was
the,
something
you open
to
the
it.
shell, they come out green, Jason.
Is that
Tree-
is that it? I thought there was like something to it.
I'm gonna call
No.
them tree clams from now on. That's
Tree
amazing.
clams. Yeah.
Maybe pistachio ice cream, they dye green, so it looks like pistachios, but that's all I can really think of.
Dude,
Yeah.
and now I'm craving spumoni though. I want to go get a gallon of it and chow down.
Spumoni.
I like your like 2 degrees of separation to holiday with all of your beers so far. It's really good.
Hey, it's a stretch, man. It's a stretch.
But you're
Again-
nailing it though.
Again, it's a weird-
Buongiorno.
It's Buongiorno.
It's Italiano, you know. It's a thing. It's you know, to take it out on the gondola, and you got a beer.
A buddy of mine pointed out a fun connection in the Tarantino movies. So you know the Italian guys, the Italian filmmakers in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
That were the thing I was doing the buongiorno. Those guys are the Italian filmmakers that Leonardo DiCaprio goes to make movies for in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Really?
Oh
Yeah,
God.
they're the same name.
Leave it to him to do that.
I was like, oh, that's a fun connection. I like that.
I love when
actually.
filmmakers create a lore and they have like their own worlds, and then they base all their films loosely in that world.
That's right. Shout out to my boy Kevin Smith.
Yep.
So I moved on to a beer that I didn't expect to buy. I'm drinking a beer from Schmaltz Brewing Company.
Are they still around?
They are, yeah. Yeah. I was about to say, like, it's a brewery that a lot of people don't at least talk about buying beer from in our area. I've bought their I think their anniversary beers, they call it the Jubilee beers.
Yep.
And they brew them every year with like, you know, I don't know, fucking 12 malts and 12 hops, and it goes up every year. And their beers generally tend to be pretty good, but they get overlooked because their name, I think, looks kind of gimmicky, I guess you could say. I don't know.
It's 10 years ago craft beer.
Yeah,
Wait,
exactly. That's
Is this
it.
the schmaltz as in did they do clown shoes?
Well, I think
No.
maybe, but the Hebrew is their
Oh,
brand,
Hebrew. There you go. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. That's the
which
one I was thinking
is
of.
one of my favorite jokes in the movie Beer Fest. Like just a little throwaway, but it's just like they have the one like Jewish character, and they're like, "Oh, if it's so good, why doesn't he brew it?" And then the Jewish character just like Hebrew. And that joke is the basis of the entire
It's
name
so
of that
bad.
fucking brewery.
I have like 2 or 3 bottles of their anniversary beers in my cellar still that I haven't opened. But I think they're a great brewery. This beer is their Golden Jelly Donut. It's made with 8 malts and 8 hops and some stuff to make it taste like a jelly donut, I guess you could say.
Nights.
And it's 8% alcohol by volume, and it tastes exactly what you would think it would taste like. It tastes like kind of like a generic fruit jelly donut. It's not too sweet. It's not too viscous. It actually is pretty dry and tasty. It's the pastry beer of Christmas beers, I think. And I bought this also for, to give some love to our Jewish friends out there that drink beer.
Yeah, Hanukkah. It's
One of the
happening.
very few Hanukkah ales that you're going to get out there. So, good getting representation. Do we have any atheist holiday beers that are just like? I guess that's just everyone that's not specifically Christmas.
That's
Go to
that's your
True
beer,
and-
Jason Slayer, I guess, would be the atheist beer.
That actually is probably pretty dead on.
That's a
Go to
sweet
True
label.
Brewing in Denver. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
I love
it's,
that.
Enhance.
It's great.
looks
It's got
good.
the
It's
got the
this
menorah,
kind of like
in a
geometric
retro.
snowflake background with like a it's a really cool really cool looking label.
Yeah, it's like mid-century modern sort of like pop decor.
It's not gaudy, and I think a lot of their older labels tended to be a little over the top with like the artwork and the colors and all the info on the bottle. And this is still kind of along that same vibe, but I think pulled in a little bit. But the beer itself is great. I mean, like I said, the fruit character on it I think is perfect. It's definitely fruit forward on the flavor, but still, you get a little bit of the malt character coming through. It's got a nice mouthfeel, but it's not too like oily or viscous or anything. It's really good for 8%. I think I could actually let this warm up a bit and it would be even better because it's pretty cold right now. So again, check this brewery. Like I really think people should just check them out if you can find stuff fresh from them because they tend to make pretty good beer.
So
I'm all about that.
I went down a little rabbit hole just now because you're like, yeah, their labels used to be very like gaudy and tacky, and I was like, isn't that what schmaltz means? And in slang, it does.
No,
schmaltz refers to tacky, overdone, or outright exploitative. It's like schmaltzy, like is a slang for things that are like tacky. But then in the chat, Leninade2020 was like, do they brew with rendered chicken fat? And I was like, what the fuck is he talking
schmaltz
about?
is chicken fat.
But that's what schmaltz means literally, not in slang. So anyways, I just went down a real rabbit hole learning all this in the last 2 minutes. So yeah.
Today we learned.
Today we all learned a thing or two.
I can't recommend everything from this brewery because I have not had everything. And I think a lot of times if you see them, it's probably going to be something that's been sitting on the shelf for a while. But if you can get something that's fairly fresh, and I thought this was a good gamble because it's, you know,
cans.
It's a can. It's also a specific holiday beer. It's going to be fresh-ish, right? And it is. It's really good. I dig it. If you dislike fruit in beer, don't buy it because the cherry does come through. It's not like that fake cherry character. It's got like a roundness and like a, I don't know, like a wholesomeness to it where it's not. I think cherry tends to come off a little vinegary if it's like artificial is used too much in a beer. Yeah. And this isn't really like that. It's got beer characteristics too. But if you don't like cherry, don't buy the beer.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I did not get that guy. Before you go into describing that delicious thing you just poured, I need to know the background of your shirt.
This shirt is like a World of Warcraft shirt. It's like a silhouette of like an orc and then like a human.
Oh, there it is. I see it. I thought it was a map.
Yeah, no. It's kind of a abstract one.
Okay. Sorry.
Greg, what's your shirt?
Oh, this is Robot from Stereo.
Great beer.
Yeah, for sure.
And John, what's your shirt?
John, Casey Neistat shirt.
John just put his glasses on his shirt and called it.
John, did I tell you there was a guy that I was friendly with at work? He was like our PR guy, but we sat in the same office and we talked all the time. Really cool guy. And I'm friends with him on LinkedIn, and he is now marketing guy for Casey Neistat.
Wow, that's a fun job.
Casey just moved to Santa Monica, so that makes sense. Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow, that guy knows on John's favorite dudes thing.
Yep, I am a big Casey Neistat fan. He just moved to Santa Monica, I don't know, almost a year ago, and he lives an hour and a half away from me. So that's pretty cool.
So more than anything, the holidays are a time of celebration.
Nice. Nicely done.
And therefore,
he can't even handle it.
I can't even do it. So I just, when we brought this show up, it was like, oh yeah, so we could all have Sierra Nevada celebration. I was like, Greg, that's a great fucking idea. And now here I am, the only motherfucker that got celebration on this show.
I couldn't find it.
You couldn't find it? Do they not have grocery stores where you live?
Dude, they're all out. Like it's all gone.
Really?
It's all sold out, dude.
I ended up getting a sixer of the the Merry Christmas instead of the celebration. Whoops.
Yeah, that's what I did too. Yeah,
I couldn't find the anchor actually, so I was looking in their holiday section. Dude, the seasonal section at Totes Wine is pretty fucking weak. If I'm being real, this was like most of the holiday beer I could find.
That's how I felt for what was the last seasonal theme we did?
The Halloween or the pumpkin ones? Yeah.
I had trouble with that, and I went to Total Wine. And usually they have that like one outcropped aisle that's literally just packed full of stuff. And you're like, okay, no problem.
I think seasonal beers in general are kind of losing popularity. Like the whole like seasonal thing. It seems like they're not the blockbusters they used to be. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe they're ordering less because they don't want to be sitting on a bunch of it. Yeah, because I've seen a lot at these places where at the end of the season they still have a lot of Oktoberfest beer left, and it's November.
So
what is that, Greg?
I get an actual special winter ale from Blaget, Brasserie de Blaget, and this is my only actual thing that says winter ale on it. And I don't know if it's 2019 or a fresh one, but it's sort of like one of those Shelton Brothers Gamble beers. And yeah, it's a little weird.
I think when it. Oh, okay. Well, before you said it was a little weird, I was going to say I think with winter beers from Shelton Brothers, you're probably going to be okay because they're probably pretty shelf stable. But carry on.
It smells like burnt, like caramelized golden raisins, like and a little bit of paint character in there.
Oh,
like Joseph Golden Raisin,
like art supply store. It's very funky.
Art supply store, like kind of dingy, papery,
like
chemically,
like sitting around.
Yeah, that's not good.
And a little bit of like rank alcohol note to it.
Mm.
And on that note, by the way, I too have I guess a week or two too late Shelton Brothers holiday beer.
Yeah, the flavor's a little maybe a little tart, like it shouldn't be.
A little infection in there too for some good measure.
Yeah, something's wrong with this beer.
Just toss it in
Hey,
there.
it's holidays. Here's our beer.
Fuck it.
And even Scott Windsor's like, yeah, that's a really good beer. I was like, all right, cool. But yeah, this is
well,
it's a dumper.
You can't win them all.
Those green bottles, dude. I tell you.
So, Tim, what were you gonna show us?
Oh, I was going to show you my Shelton Brothers pick here. Because I am an immature child sometimes, I got Santa's Butt.
They wonder why they're going out of business.
This is
like a beer Greg would buy. Like,
this is a winter porter, and it took me a minute. I was like, Santa's Butt, and then I read the label. I'm like, apparently from a children's storybook, a quote here, and Santa sat on his great butt enjoying a hearty brew. And then I had to keep reading, and apparently, which I had learned today, a butt refers to a certain sized barrel that was used for storing beer, usually about 108 imperial gallons. So Santa's butt is sitting on Santa's butt. Ha 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 ha.
Look at that.
To be fair,
sure that same brewery, I almost picked up a beer called Lump of Coal. It looked almost
they do
they
that one too.
Yes,
I should probably mention it's from Ridgeway Brewing. I did not mention that.
Okay, yeah.
It's a 6% English porter.
Honestly, I was like, outside of the funniness of the name, this is going to be a shit beer. I know for sure, so I didn't buy it.
I'm like,
but Santa's
sure.
Butts got more mileage for the name.
For those who aren't watching live, the label is basically Santa tweaking. Or twerking, not tweaking.
He's you're so old, John.
Two different labels. Santa twerking.
I mean,
hey kids, I don't want any of your kids tweaking out there on the dance floor. All right.
It's basically Santa looking a little angry over his shoulder while he's holding a pint and sitting on basically what looks like an old timey wooden barrel.
To me, it looks like he's got just a luscious booty.
Oh,
he looks like he's like, why don't you
jolly.
take a picture? It'll last longer.
Speaking of movies, you can show a movie on that ass.
Overall, I mean, it's a pretty smooth, nice porter. I don't have anything super special to say about it. It's I don't know. It's a nice little holiday porter.
Dude, I had the lump of coal from that, and it tasted like a lump of coal. It was super ashy.
I've had that actually.
Yeah, somebody got it for Christmas last year, and it was like, yeah. Please don't buy me beer ever again.
My comment was surprisingly good. Probably wouldn't seek it out again.
You bring that up, Greg, and I went to La Bodega to buy my beers, and it wasn't difficult to find a lot of holiday beer. It was difficult to find a lot of singles of holiday beer because they had a lot of like multi-packs with glasses, and even Duvel had
They're
like
gift packs.
Yeah, it's a gift pack. And even those, I like those. And part of me wants to buy a lot of those and send them to our beer friends as like a gag. But I still think they'd be appreciated because like you get a cool glass and some beers, and hopefully they're good.
I bought a Duvel gift pack last year because the Duvel glass is like my go-to drinking glass. Yeah. And then it took me like a month to drink all those 4 beers. I was like, but it's like, basically it's like buy the 4-pack of beers, get a glass free. So I'm like, well, fuck it. I want to get a free glass. And then I'm just like, I don't want this many Duvals, but for $12 for 4 of them and a glass, like, might as well.
I bought the Duvel 4-pack with a glass because you can't go wrong buying Duvel. And if you get a free glass, then okay.
The Duvel Tulip is the perfect beer glass. It is big enough to hold a full pint. It has plenty of room. It's sturdy. Like, I've worn the paint off of these before I've broken them. So these are awesome glasses. The best.
My only issue with those Duvel tulips, those are actual tulip glasses, like the top flares out. I don't like drinking out of flared top glasses. And so like the glasses that we use for our 4 Brewers glasses, where they're kind of like slimmed down tulips where it kind of just barely comes off. Yeah, Tim's showing one in the live stream there.
Brewery tulip.
Yeah, that's what I like. It comes to a point, and it focuses the aroma towards your nose. And yeah, and Jason with the 4 Brewers glass, yeah, same thing. That's what I like. I'm not against the flared out, Duvel glass, but it's just not what I prefer. So
the big thing with the Duvel one is, one, the sides are thick compared to most glasses, and 2, it's got a big bowl. Like the flare part is a lot bigger. Like if you look at our 4 Brewers glass, it's just got a lot more volume. So you can put you can only put maybe 12 ounces in the 4 Brewers glass, where the Duvel one you can pour a full pint with head and it'll be fine.
You can eat a bowl of cereal out of that glass.
Lemonade's asking if we have experience with a Teku glass. Of course we have experience.
Yes.
I have not ever had a Teku glass.
They're nice. They feel delicate.
Yeah. I love how they look, but I'm also scared that I would break them immediately.
I have a monkish Teku. I mean, I have a whole thing in my kitchen, like a whole bar cart full of glassware and shit. So I have tons of stuff. But at the end of the day, I usually use either these Duvel tulips or the big like the 16 or like 20 ounce tall glasses that a couple of the breweries have.
Yeah,
nice.
Well, I moved on to another beer. This is in theme with the holidays. This is also from Mason Ale Works, which
fun.
When I was at La Bodega, there was 2 or 3 people asking about Mason Ale Works, which I found intriguing because we were at Mason. We did a show there when they first opened up, and their beers were solid, but they still are making solid beers. They tend to collaborate a lot as well, which I think is smart. But their
Run the Jewels beer was awesome.
Oh, fuck yeah. Like, if you're going to buy anything from SoCal, buy the Run the Jewels beer that, like, what's
the No Save Point. It's named after the song they did for Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes.
A straight up West Coast IPA from Mason Ale Works. Super fucking good.
Horace was also
that's right. Horace Aged Ales. But this is not an aged ale.
Beer. So the one I'm drinking is called Nice. So there's 2 beers, Naughty and Nice. Nice is a 7%, basically West Coast IPA. Let me see if they give any details on the can here. They say it's resinous, bitter, and citrus, which I would agree with. It says enjoy in a Santa mug. All right. And the adjuncts are spruce, pine, tree needles. Other than that, it's Simcoe, Chinook, and CTZ, Two-Row, Vienna, and Caramel, and Rye. Wow. Okay. This is a fantastic beer, guys.
I like what spruce does to an IPA. It gives us like this fresh, airy sort of, I don't know. Do you pick up on that at all?
I do. And it can be overdone as well. If you use too much spruce in a beer, it starts tasting and smelling like a plant, which I am not down for.
Yeah, air freshener.
This is definitely complementing the hops for sure. This is fantastic. The spruce is very, very low key. It's almost not there, which is good. When I saw spruce, I was like, all right, I'll get it. But it's like when you use rosemary in a beer, like rosemary is so powerful, it could just overwhelm the beer entirely. And this, the spruce in this is not at all. This just tastes like a great IPA.
So as expected, I had to figure out what naughty was, because if you get nice and you say it's naughty, what is it? It's got to be something dark. It's got to be something different, because, if you're doing like light and airy and like IPA, and lo and behold, it is an imperial milk stout with peppermint. So,
I think that may have been last year's.
Oh, is it last year's?
Yeah, this year's is a hot chocolate style stout.
Okay, well, fine. Same.
But generally speaking, you're right. One's like going to be an IPA, and the other one, the naughty is going to be the
I kind of like that idea of having the complementary beers that come out that are both two sides of the same coin. Like it's a good marketing idea where it's like it inherently makes you want to complete the set. You're like, well, I had one, I want to have the other one.
That's why I bought them. Otherwise, I would have just bought one. But I'm like, well, even though it's a completely different style,
how do we sell two beers?
Yeah, I got to have nice and naughty. Yeah, so that's what I did, and that's my next beer, naughty. But we're not there yet.
There you go. For my last tasting flight here, I went to McMinnville, Oregon, to pick up a Heater Allen beer, which at the time when I bought it, I didn't think it was a Christmas beer at all. But after reading the name a few times aloud,
what's the name?
Sandy Paws, Santa Claus.
Ah, got it.
And they called him Sandy Paws.
Second reference today.
Yeah, it's a Baltic porter. Heater Allen's famous for their amazing German style beers, and this one is no different. Everything I've ever had from Heater Allen's been 5 out of 5. Exceptional. Strongly buy a case of and never regret it.
So why called Sandy Paws? Like what's the beer?
It's named after a dog.
Right, I saw that. There was
Jacob. And he's a farmhand, and the writing is so small I can't read it. But
it's all good.
It's a farm dog.
He probably has dirty paws,
and his paws are dirty.
Okay, so what's the beer?
It's a Baltic porter.
Yeah, okay. That's it's just straight up Baltic porter. That's it.
It's a straight up Baltic porter.
Okay.
It's pretty clear for it's like
John, I have the answers you seek.
Oh, go for it.
Hold
Thanks,
on.
Jason.
When Rick started the idea for a brewery, he was living at the beach. When trying to come up with a name for the holiday beer, he pictured his dog coming back from the beach with her paws covered in sand.
Jesus.
Thus the name Sandy Paws was born. Sandy Paws is typically a Baltic porter, rich and malty with slightly spicy notes. This is one of our beers that we will change the recipe from year to year. It is also one of our beers that can be aged and usually better after a year.
Have you ever thought about reading ebooks?
I'm gonna. No, I get old. There's more, but I'm not gonna read anymore. Anyways, yeah, there's the story, John.
All right, that pretty much answers my question.
I absolutely love how Greg nailed it without even trying to nail it.
I didn't even, dude. I thought I left the store thinking, oh, I got one one winter ale. And then I was like, all right, well, let me research, the pistachio thing or the spumoni thing. And then I finally got this at 8:00 this morning while, taking a shower. I was like, Sandy Paws. That's an actual Christmas beer. I failed. I did it, you guys.
That's amazing. I mean, you obviously get like mad props just because you like nailed it without even trying. And here I remember like, what beer has the holiday in the name?
Greg's like, looks like I pulled a homer.
I pulled a homer. And it's a really, oh my God, you guys, like, you have to try this beer. It looks like a coffee.
Yeah.
That, super clear, but it's dark brown and very rich, but you could see through it. And that's really cool. Super fluffy head and just nice, super clean, chocolatey, not like dusty chocolate, but just a slight richness to it.
Right.
And nice graininess.
Not dusty cocoa, but
yeah.
Like baker's chocolate kind of thing happening. Yeah.
I'm
jealous. I want that beer. That sounds fantastic right now.
10 out of 10, man.
Still working on that celebration. But it's Celebration. I've reviewed it before.
Celebration, like the original IPA?
I think it wasn't like the
Craft
first
IPA.
double IPA or something.
But it's
No, I don't know. There's something weird about Celebration, but Celebration is always a solid beer. It's a very old school take on IPA. Very sea hop.
It's an old school take, but still stands up pretty well, right? It's not like it's taxing like an old school IPA where it'd be like over malty, too sweet, too bitter. It still works.
I think it's if I had a good way to describe Celebration to somebody who's never had it, using context of a beer that somebody who had access to would definitely have had Celebration, but it's very much Lagunitas IPA, but with a fresher, pinier note.
It's Lagunitas. I think it's better than
it's like a improved Lagunitas IPA is really what I would say the overall flavor profile you get. It's still fairly malty. It's still fairly dark for an IPA. It's very caramel colored in the glass. But the fresh hops really come through. It gives it like a bright green note. And it works really well. Just solid ass
the
beer.
cool thing about Celebration is it actually ages pretty well. If you want to sit on some Celebration for 5-6 years, it sounds weird, but it will change over time, and it turns into kind of like a barley wine light kind of thing.
Yep,
and it's good.
I found a like several years back. I found like a 2010 or 11 sitting in the back of my fridge, and it was I don't remember how it turned out, but I definitely held onto one accidentally.
What's cool about Celebration is it tastes like if you were to somebody were to hand you a Celebration blind, you would pour it and you'd go, this is a Sierra Nevada beer.
Yep.
Through and through. Like it is Sierra Nevada, like in a nutshell.
Sierra Nevada's branding on their aroma and flavor is pretty incredible. Like it's so noticeable. The more you know, if you get deeper and deeper into beer and craft beer, it says a lot about how like their success is justified because they stuck to who they are, and their beers reflect Sierra Nevada entirely. All the way up and down the line too.
Is anybody doing whole cone hops? Like they're not always fresh hops, but Sierra Nevada does all whole cone hops on everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any other brewery is doing that regularly.
That's a good point. Yeah. And maybe that's the defining characteristic that makes them stand out ultimately.
That came up on my Facebook memories yesterday when I was at Sierra Nevada doing a beer camp beer, and I was on Simcoe duty, and I was like just grabbing like huge bricks of it off of these like bales that are 4 feet high.
Yeah.
And then my fingers stunk like Simcoe hops for like 2 days. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, being near the hop bins at Sierra Nevada, they're just literally these like 4 foot by 4 foot bins full of just hop flowers.
Dude,
and you're
Cascade is just baboosh.
You're just like, this is amazing.
A whole Cascade broom.
The closest I got to that was when New Brew Thursday went out to the East Coast, and we went to Victory, and we went to their refrigerator full of whole cone, because I think Victory is also a whole cone hop brewery for the most part.
Yep.
And it was amazing.
Back on my other podcast, we interviewed one of the brewers from Victory, and he was talking about how like their fresh hop, it was just mentioned in chat, fresh hop, but it sparked a memory of how they would go out and they'd like literally shift truck the hops back from Oregon to the brewery for their fresh hop beer. And so they were talking about the whole cones and everything. So Victory is definitely one of those.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Let's pause for like 2 minutes because I have to go to the bathroom and then get my next beer. So,
all right,
we cool with that?
Yeah, I've got my last one ready to go when you get back.
Right.
You need like a studio pit shitter.
He's just gonna pee right now while he's there.
It's just gonna be like Naked Gun where he's wearing the lav mic and he's just
gonna pull a Giuliani and rip one.
Did you hear Giuliani has coronavirus
again?
Does he really?
For the second time? Yes.
Fucking owned.
Good God, man.
It feels like really gnarly out there right now, man.
It is. Yeah. It's bad news.
I went out. What was crazy is like I went to Windsor yesterday expecting it to be empty, but all like Bottle Logic closed, and like all the other breweries are closed. There's no on site or anything. So it was like a ghost town. But you go in Windsor and they have a little tasting area. It's completely packed. I was like, really?
Just like, oh, here's the one place I can drink beer outside, out of my home, so I'm gonna go do it.
Mr. Kyle from the chat was there, and I didn't want to say hi because he was no masks and shit with a bunch of people. But I'm like, this is crazy. Let me get my beers and get the hell out of here.
Did you hear that Chud guy in fucking New York who's like, my bar's an autonomous zone and I can stay open?
Yeah.
He fucking ran over a cop. That guy's gonna go to jail. Like, there's one way to lose Chud support, man. And He tried to escape. A police officer jumped onto the hood of his car. He drove like 100 meters with a cop on his hood, and the cop fell off his car, got like multiple fractures and shit.
I got my rights.
And I was like, oh, that guy is going to jail now. He was probably going to get a slap on the wrist, and then he fucking hurt a cop. That's one way to get all those treads to turn on him.
All these places are losing their alcohol license, which is huge. You know how much an alcohol permit is worth?
Right?
It's
It's super expensive.
Well, you guys, some of you, well, not you, Jason, but those of you out in like Riverside area, like they're not going to enforce this shit. So it's just going to be like no man's land out there.
Yeah, Chad
Yeah,
our sheriff is very much a Trump supporter. He's also a piece of shit. There was a whole thing that came out when he was running, I think 2 years ago was when he was elected. Yeah, he's a bad person. Yeah.
Well, I'm right next to Beverly Hills, obviously, over on the west side, and they're like, we don't want to follow the rules of LA County because we're special, so we're going to form our own health department, and we're going to make our own rules.
Cool. Go for it, man.
Do it.
Fuck him.
Anyway, less of that.
Before we start back up again, Lemonade talked about fresh hop beer. And next year, if we're out of the cursed times, we should figure out like a fresh hop show.
Yeah.
Maybe we could we do a show from a beer festival? Like, what's stopping us legally?
Either a beer
Pizza
fest or
Port, I
go
guess.
go on a road trip up to Oregon and go to a hop farm and
We'll take the fucking Roadmaster, dude.
go to Yakima Valley.
Aside from contracting a virus, if let's assume that's gone, there's nothing stopping us. I have the equipment. We can easily do it. It might not be broadcast live, but yeah, we could do
Let's
it.
do 4 brewers from Hoptoberfest at Pizza Port.
Oh, that'd be badass.
Yeah. So we're looking for
Okay,
October.
October, yeah.
I think
It's usually
that's
right around my birthday.
By that time, I would hope that we'd be able to-
Tim.
The dude in charge of the
Guess what?
Project Warp Speed or whatever the fuck is claiming that they're on track to have 300 million vaccine doses ready by June.
That's
by-
great. Now
by
we just
June,
have
sure.
to convince people to take them.
Mhm.
But
That's
if
the
you've
other-
taken them, at least then you're not a danger from the dumb fucks.
Yeah. October, I think, is a reasonable goal to consider doing a show somewhere live, I think. Yeah.
Yep. We'll see.
I like
All
how
right.
we're planning a year in advance on this, but we can't plan a week in advance on our beers.
Wow, Tim.
Shade.
Shots fired.
All right, Tim, what's our next week's beer?
Fuck. I'll let you know on Friday.
Fair enough.
Okay, so I'm moving on to my next beer. As I said before, I opened Nice from Mason Ale Works, which was their spruce tipped IPA. Now I'm opening their Naughty beer, which is a hot chocolate inspired. Is this a stout? Yep,
I would hope so.
hot chocolate stout, and it is
A hot chocolate Hefeweizen.
well, it could be a porter, or a doppel. I don't know. This smells fantastic. This smells very rich. You get kind of like a dusty grain character from it, a little bit of a vanilla character. Big chocolate on the nose. Dusty cocoa for sure.
Dusty Grain knows about hard times. You guys want to know about hard times? Dusty Grain out here working hard for the working. I don't know the bit well enough.
I think
Wow,
that's the wrong character. I think. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's Dusty Rhodes, but
Yeah.
that's what it's going for. So my last beer, ceramic bottle, looking very festive.
Those are so cool.
It is Delirium Noel.
Nice.
man, all the alcohols.
Which is part of their Delirium Tremens, Delirium Nocturne series. Apparently since 1654.
People getting drunk off that beer since 1654.
I haven't had the Noel in a while. I remember the Tremens tasting like hot dog water. So we'll see how this guy goes.
It's boozy hot dog water, man.
It's 10%, I think.
And you can taste every one of those percents.
Yeah, 10% alcohol by
That's
volume.
one.
So.
There's 2. I'm getting those
it
4 and
is
5.
It is very dark caramel colored. It's pretty clear. It's got a good clarity to it. I can see the screen through it. Probably can't.
It looks very nice on camera. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it smells boozy. It really does.
I'm following you up with pretty much the same.
What you got, Timmy?
So I'm wrapping up here with Saint Bernardus Christmas.
Oh, that's a good one though.
You got the big boy too, the 750.
Yeah,
Because I saw the 750 and I was deterred. I was just like, I don't know if I want to spend that much on a 750.
I wasn't
both me and Tim with the official Belgium seal on our beers.
Ooh, official.
And this is 10% as well, and it's classified as a quadruple.
Yep.
And also I want to try and get. Hold on, I got to try and get this really quick.
Let's see. Ooh, nice.
You got nice smoke coming off.
Got the
Yeah, trust too. He was like, "This is not gonna foam on me." Which honestly, if a Saint Bernardus overflowed on me, I would be shocked.
It didn't even cross my mind.
It's a Phantom.
St. Bernardus beers are well crafted. They know what they're doing.
Like if
Look
I feel
at
like
that head, Tim.
if we emailed the brewer and we're like, "Hey, this beer overflowed on us," they would kill themselves.
That's like a nice 4 fingers ahead on there, man.
Yeah, dude, that poured. I mean, I didn't go. Wasn't as delicate as I could be, but whoo.
Dude, this Delirium Noel's pretty drinkable, you guys.
Okay. All right.
I
had that a few years back, and I remember it being pretty good.
So
Does it
something
very
burn
much
off,
that
burn off on the nose
bubblegum,
there.
that bubblegum clovey note. But like a lot of like raisiny banana bready kind of flavors. Like it's rich without being too heavy. It is boozy though, for sure. Helped by the fact that I've had like 4 beers in an hour. So, but so that helps the booziness, but it is still pretty boozy. But the flavor is actually pretty solid, pretty drinkable.
I think Belgium comes to mind more often than not when it comes to Christmas beers for me. Even though I have no Belgian beers in front of me, yeah, I really wish I would have bought Tim's the St. Bernardus beer. Because,
Same.
Yeah,
I'm jealous.
you're missing out.
That was a miss on my part. That sucks. Although this Mason Ale Works hot chocolate beer is
really
very,
good.
very good. Like there are no flaws. If you like pastry stouts, this is a straight up pastry stout.
What's ABV?
10%, I want to say.
It's up there. Okay.
10% club.
It's no 8%. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Get out
It's a
of here.
sessionable pastry stout.
You're out of the club.
Yeah, it's really good. There's not much I can say about it though. Like it's got a nice bitterness to it. It's got a nice balance between the sweetness and the bitterness. Not a big, huge mouthfeel, but enough to be tongue coating and tasty to remind you that it's a dessert beer. And the nose is fantastic on it. Really, really good.
Yeah.
I had a 10-degree Play-Doh beer. Does that count? Can I join the club?
Yes, you can get an honorary member. This St. Bernardus is pretty much exactly what I expect, like from a Belgian beer. Which I feel like I've said this before, but Belgian beer has definitely grown on me. I'd say, especially since we went to France and the Netherlands, and you could more easily get sort of Belgian-y flavored beers there. I originally was not a huge fan, and it's truly grown on me, like the quadruples and things like that. So I'm really liking this.
I've said this before too. I agree with you. When I was new to craft beer, I thought they were gross. Like Belgian beers in general I was just like, what the fuck? And the more I drank them, the more I got into beer, and the more I figured out what Belgian beer was all about.
Mhm.
The more I you have to drink it as well. Like the more you drink something, the more you become accustomed to it, and it just becomes normal. And that's what happened with me with Belgian beers. And now I don't think I'd turn down anything Belgian. I'll try it.
Dude, if we get to the after times ever, let's go to a Belgian beer bar
Or just
drink
Belgium
some
in general.
beer. I mean, one's a little bit more practical. We could go to Claremont or Europe. Either or.
Patreon, do your thing.
Yeah, Claremont's a fair compromise for Tim to come out to, even though it's kind of still a hike. But
No,
It's still in LA County, so he's barely leaving his house.
Yeah,
and we
exactly.
can visit all the tech YouTubers that live on that street. All my favorite tech YouTubers like Jonathan Morrison, and
invite him out.
yeah, I will. I definitely will.
Apparently, everybody loves you on the Twitter, so invite everybody out.
Again, the followers I've been getting over the last few weeks have been weird, and I'm here for it, and it's okay.
So I think overall, I would probably place Greg as the holiday winner just because of his like nailing the theme without nailing it. I give Jason props because he's the only one with celebration.
Yeah. It's like when you cheated on a test and you aced it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I feel like today.
So, okay, but what's your beer winner?
Oh, dude, this Heater Allen thing is just, man, I want to go back and buy all of it on the shelf. It's just so goddamn delicious. And the Urban Roots, like, I'm a huge Pilsner fan. If you like Pilsners, 3.9%, it's straight up. I think my textbook winner. It's really good. Must try. Nagel approved.
As far as my winner, I gotta say I feel like I'm cheating here or not being true to the theme of the show, but the Mason Ale Works Nice beer from Naughty and Nice, their IPA with spruce. I'm gonna own it. Fuck it. Yeah.
There's no judgment.
It's got spruce pine tree needles in it, so it's Christmassy. Fuck it. It's the best one. This is the best one.
It's literally, that's a Christmas beer.
It is, yeah.
Naughty and Nice.
The Schmaltz Hanukkah beer, I think was second. If you like the cherry stuff happening in beers, I think was very well done, especially from a brewery like is it Hebrew or Schmaltz? I think it's Schmaltz is the actual.
Yeah,
brewery.
Schmaltz is the actual brewer. Just like I had a Shiner, and it's actually like Spetzel Brewing or whatever.
Okay, yeah. But of course, Anchor's Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, our special ale. Like it can't that just wins, I guess. Like upper echelon. It cannot be denied. It's the GOAT. But everything I had on this show was fantastic. But I'm walking away loving this Mason Ale Works nice beer. So nice.
Yeah, we gotta let's do a dedicated Mason show one of these days, because
it's been a while. It's been like 3 or 4 years since we were down there. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
we didn't
they
actually
have a brewery too.
We didn't actually go to the brewery, right? We met him at the restaurant and drank the beer.
Well, the restaurant, yeah, that was in that was
at a
location. And when they opened up Mason Ale Works, that was Urge Gastropub, which is the same brothers. And then they opened up a thing in Oceanside, which is now closed down. And they have like a bowling alley thing in sort of San Marcos, kind of near Lost Abbey, where they have their brewery. You can bowl, you can eat. I don't know about now, but
you cannot bowl there.
I think that's where it's all
bowling
happening.
alleys are specifically shut down. So
I love me some Mason. We got to go.
Definitely, yeah.
Safe.
The theme of today is fantasizing about going to places.
Seriously,
that's the theme of every day, Jason.
We're having Christmas dreams of a bright
film some 3D VR brewery tours, just so we can all go.
Just film yourself from the first person sitting there.
There I am.
It's a VR game where you drink a pint.
Hi, I'm Greg.
POV brewery video on
You brew.
Yeah, that's right. You brew.
You beer.
Done.
I feel like it's a cop out, but I'm gonna go with Anchor Christmas just because.
No, that's not a cop out at all, man.
Good beer, huh?
I mean, I really like this Saint Bernardus just because, again, the whole like discovery of Belgium beers and like actually starting to enjoy that sort of funky sort of Belgian yeast thing that they all tend to have. But overall, I look forward to Merry Christmas pretty much every year.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, so that Saint Bernardus, man, any Belgian quad, you're gonna get that like figgy, dark fruit, raisiny character, and you're home. That's a must try.
Jason, wrap us up.
I gotta go with Slayer, man. It was a beer that I remembered I had before, but it was surprisingly better than I remembered, and just a solid ass beer. No gimmicks, no bullshit, just a regular malt and hops, good beer, and I was super here for it.
Ninkasi Slayer. All right. Stop recording.
Done. Yay, that was fun.
I'm going to turn my lights on. Hey.
Dude, this Yeticaster mic stand is such a piece of shit. Fucking hate it.
Dude, buy a new
Did
one.
you see this one I got?
I don't know, man. Greg's mic has sounded real fucking wonky today, so I was all in on it, but
I think it's still... I want you to unplug it, point it up, and then plug it back in. Because I think the plug is what's keeping you from...
yeah, it is like pointing at your chin, and it feels very like you're not on brand.
Jason, from the person that edits the shows, Greg's mic sounds great. Yours is still like a little tinny. Tim, who has the cheapest setup,
you're pitchy, dog.
Great.
You're pitchy. Yeah, cheapest
Jason,
setup. How is this
be
the cheapest setup?
Well, you have like a $20 mic and an H6. Okay, that's $400.
H6 is expensive,
but it's a USB interface though. Like, you can use it for multiple things. So
I'll admit I'm a little jealous of those who have just like plug a USB cord in from the mic in terms of setup, because when you have a permanent setup, like, I guess if I could set all my shit up permanently and leave it there, then I'd be great. But I have to set it all up every time, and there's like 6 cables.
Okay, well, yeah, I sit here next to my. You've been here, obviously,
yes.
So I just turn buttons on and things work. Jason, if your mic was closer to your face, you'd sound better. And Greg, say something else. You're on mute.
Exactly. I will give props to my audio tech, my son. He set all my shit up today.
Did he really?
Yeah, he put the mic on the stand, hooked up the cables. He did it all for me.
He's a great little gaffer.
Yeah, it was good.
Good on him, man. Guys, at the end of the day, like, I fix everything. Everything sounds fine in the end. So
we know.
If I had major issues with stuff, I'd let you know, and it's fine. So,
all right, I'm gonna take off, but good show, everyone.
All right, Tim.
Thanks, guys.
Do we want to talk about next week?
Yes.
Is there a next week?
I mean,
if we can do Sunday.
Yeah, it has to be Sunday for me, but yeah.
I can't do Sunday because I'm on call. So I guess there's no next week.
Yeah, because Saturday I'm going to
your concert
thing in San Diego. I gotta be there at like 4. So
we can easily skip next week. It's no problem.
Because I've got a drive-in movie on Sunday, but because of the Corona curfew, I gotta probably head out early. So,
all right. So let's plan for the following weekend then.
All right.
What about? Hold on one sec before I take off. Let me find my calendar because I'm horrible at dates.
That would be.
What about post Christmas?
The 19th.
Are you guys doing anything on the 26th or 27th?
No, I'm planning on taking that whole week off work actually. So,
okay. Well,
I am. Yeah, I have the 28th and 29th off. So can we do the 27th, which is a Sunday, which would work for Jason?
Possibly.
I mean, the 26th would be fine too. So the 12th is the day that I'm. But again, I prefer Sunday. I can usually do Saturday. I don't do anything. So
I just wanted to check. I want to check post Christmas, like next, Christmas day after Christmas. Just want to see what everybody's plan was.
I mean, if we want to do the 26th or 7th, I'm good.
Greg.
This is great content. I'm glad 10 people are tuned in to listen to a schedule.
Also,
I love
New
you
Year's,
guys.
the day after New Year's, so that would be the 2nd or
I have to
the
work
Sunday.
all those weeks, so I'll be home and not doing anything.
Okay. Well, then right now, let's just plan on the 26th, the 27th, it sounds like. Or wait, hold on, what's the next one? Sorry, shit. I lost my calendar.
What's
the next Sunday? It's not this week.
The next Sunday is the 13th, which we're taking off, and then it's the 20th.
Okay. So we'll plan on something on the 20th, it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm down with 20th.
Okay,
cool.
I'm working on the 13th. And okay.
All right,
I'm down for 19 or 20. So
okay.
I'll make it
Doesn't
happen.
matter.
I want to do Sundays for Jason, but I like Saturdays. So how about
I can do
the 19th for me, and then we'll do the 27th for Jason, which is a Sunday.
That works.
Okay, cool.
All right, dudes.
Later, homie.
See ya.
Bye, Tim.
Stay safe.
Cheers, bro. Greg, you been playing Division at all? It feels like it's kind of dead.
Yeah, I played a little bit. I was doing the Guardians thing, and then I did a raid last night.
Oh, wow. Okay. Dude, I was like matchmaking yesterday, and I was just like, dude, nobody's here. It's not
It depends
happening.
on the people are very particular. Like if I see somebody's matchmaking for something I don't need, I'm like, no.
Well, I do matchmaking for random heroics. Just like, I just want to join a group and shoot stuff. And I'm like sitting there for like 5
It's pretty
minutes.
dead.
And I'm like, damn, dude. Normally these would be like instant get into a group.
I finished Alex yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
That was incredible. Incredible.
I'm thinking I just got to join the kid and play Destiny 2 with him.
Yeah, I'm down to play. I have Destiny. I don't have the Beyond Light thing because it's $50, but
Yeah, I'm like, I got to figure out what fucking expansion packs or whatever the shit I need.
just there's one that brings you up to date to the last expansion, which is like $30 or something like that, and it's worth it. And that's where I'm at right now. So if you do that, I'll happily play with you.
Yeah, maybe I'll jump in on that. Because at least then I'll have somebody built in to play with.
Yeah, the Beyond Light thing is like $50. I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't want to spend $50 on a 4-year-old game.
Right? That's crazy to do a $50 X pack. Although I don't know, the armor and shit the kid's been getting looks pretty fucking nuts. So
The game is tight. So I mean, it's fun to play. It's shooting a bunch of shit. Same thing, getting loot and repeat. I just don't have anybody to. I joined the AOD guys on. I'm like a part timer on the Destiny thing, but
yeah,
there's nobody ever on. So
really.
down to play it though.
Emmett said it's been on sale for $20. I was like, I should look and see if this goes on sale on Black Friday, and then I didn't, and now here we are. So
yeah,
I bet it did.
New expansion that just came out like 3 or 4 days ago is like $50.
It may have gone on sale. He could be right, but it definitely isn't on sale now.
Yeah, if you go to Steam, it's 50.
Goo! Oh, that's a legendary edition. It's like fucking $80.
Yeah,
Jesus fucking Christ.
I started playing The Witcher.
How you liking that?
I played for like 2.5 hours last weekend, and the onboarding is a lot. Like they teach you how to fight, how to run around, how to like use your special abilities and spells and stuff. But once you get beyond that, like I spent a good 45 minutes just fighting people, learning how to fight things in like the training ground area. After that, I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna keep playing it. It's free on Game Pass. So
I spent 30 minutes trying to play Star Wars Squadrons yesterday, and I swear it's like cutscene of talking to a guy, and it's very like 2010 where it's like, oh, talk to this guy, and it's like a very straight on like, hello there, person. I am telling you backstory. Here's some exposition about the plot, and I'm like, I don't care. And it's like, oh, go talk to Jeff now, and then I have to go talk to Jeff, and he's like, hi, I'm Jeff. I've got some things to tell you about the plot. And I'm, oh my God. And it was like, okay, now I talk to Jeff. Okay, now you have to talk to Joe. Hey, I'm Joe. I'm not with you on this mission, but I'll be with you soon. Anyways,
I mean, this is similar where there are
oh my
cutscenes.
fucking God, kill me.
The
It took me like 20 minutes to play the game.
The cutscenes are long, but they're also like trying to tell a story, which I get. And once you like you said, like go talk to this person, well, then that just goes into your tally of missions that you can accomplish. And so you can stick with the main thing that you're going for, or you can do the side quest or whatever you want to do. There's also like a built-in game called Quent. I think it's called Quent. It's like a card game. I'm not going to get into it, but it's fun. I figured it out and won my first game playing the game.
The Witcher 3, I'm
doing.
sure, is great, but it's the only game that like the worst gamers like, because it's like big buff white man goes and kills things and there's big titties in it. And so like I'm sure
Titties, yeah. So
Yeah, there's a lot of titties in Witcher
I'm looking
3 from
forward
my
to that.
understanding. But it's like the one game that like capital G gamers that like get mad that they put black people in Battlefield like. And so like the only game that people like and the only and big titty sexy women, it's not like trying to make realistic. It's just, like porno male fantasy game. And so like I'm sure this isn't the fault of The Witcher, but it became this meme where like the only game studio internet gamers like is CD Projekt Red because The Witcher 3 is the only game they're allowed to like because every other game is ruined by SJWs or whatever the fuck. And it's just like, all right, I'm waiting for everybody to backlash on Cyberpunk because there's no way it's going to live up to the expectations that they have.
Oh yeah, that's a strong wait for me as well.
Everyone's gonna, even if the game is great,
so
even if Cyberpunk is great, people's expectations are sky high. It was like No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky was like, we're gonna make a really boring procedurally generated game where you can explore shit. And then it came out and everyone's like, this is really boring and all I can do is explore shit. It's like, yeah, that's what they said. They would be like, yeah, it's procedurally generated, so there'll be 10 million different worlds to explore. We didn't say there'd be anything on them.
I'll play The Witcher 3, and I just won't tell anybody about it. And if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And that's where it ends.
You can like The Witcher 3. That's okay.
I didn't pay for it. So.
Yeah, it's just a game, man.
I mean, I guess I did pay for it because I could pay Microsoft $15 a month, but yeah.
Oh, is it on the Xbox thing?
It's a Game Pass thing. It's on, I think it's on Xbox and PC.
The first game I saw in there that I wanted to try is like the Tetris something. It's like that Tetris game looks pretty cool.
I uploaded.
What was that? I know what you're talking about. Tetris 99 on Switch also is very, very good. It's like a multiplayer battle thing, but when you lose, like other players get your blocks, and it's similar to Super Mario 35, which is the same thing. Like when you lose or when you like kill enemies, those enemies go to other players and they have to fight those enemies.
I've honestly been playing a lot of Battlefield 1 because it's so I just want to shoot stuff and it's fun.
What is it, Tetris game?
I think I could technically play that because I accidentally subscribed to that EA thing.
Yeah, it's really fun. Just it's old school shooter. You can snipe, you can LMG, you can medic, you can.
I thought there's Tetris Effect Connected. That's what
Tetris.
called.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I can install that. I'm gonna play that. I feel like that game is the one game that won't be ruined by anything.
That's also a Game Pass game. Yeah,
we had a jam. Aaron's home. She's been gone all weekend, so we had to go say
cheers, bro.
Later, homies. See ya, peoples.
Till the next episode. I'm killing it. See you later, John.
All right. Peace out.
Cheers, bro.